graduated from college.
Yes.
And when she comes through the Khyber Pass, she met one of the people that controlled it at that time. And so when her and her husband come back, they drove a Volvo all the way from Europe to there. And they gave them a welcome with horses and guns shooting in the air and everything. Well, we didn't meet them until on the train. They had put their car on the train in Peshawar, and then they come overland by train to Lahore, and then crossed over where we took buses, and they were just wooden seat buses, rough riding. Everything was Mercedes-Benz. All the lorries, the deuce and a halfs, they were all Mercedes-Benz at that time. You hardly ever seen a British vehicle at all. It was Mercedes. And anyway, when we crossed from Lahore into Firozpur, India, then we took third class steam locomotive trains at that time, and because that was the cheapest way to travel. And that's where we met that doctor and his wife on that train.
Now, what was the doctor doing in India? What was an American doctor doing in India?
Well, he come across because his wife knew them people. That she had kept in contact with them people in the Khyber Pass, and they visited him.
Okay, so he was there visiting. He didn't live there.
No. He didn't live there. They just traveling at the same time, just like we were, only a little different than we were.
Understood.
Well, when we met him on the train, and he seen how sick I was. Well, I had went to the American consulate all through Peshawar, Rawalpindi, Lahore, and go to and see what I could get to cure my dysentery. And again, like I said, they would only give you a tincture of morphine and tincture of opium, and it just didn't work. And he seen how sick I was, so when the train got to Delhi, India, he right away got a rickshaw and put me in it, and I could hardly walk anymore. I was bad, and took me to a pharmacy and got me a drug, and I still to this day don't know what it was, and it cured me right away. He knew.
The first dose cured you, or after several doses, or what?
Well, I got some pills,
Okay,
and took them, and it cured me, and which I was very thankful. I ran into him later, but that'll come along here later on.
Mm-hmm.
But then from Delhi, it's the old part of the city. I mean, it's just amazing. The bazaars and all the colored clothes and everything in the bazaars was just amazing. And from Delhi then to New Delhi, which is they're combined to the towns Old Delhi, New Delhi. And spend a bunch of days and stuff just walking around, just looking at the city, all the shops and everything, because it was so different than anything I'd ever seen anywhere before. And
did you have in India? Did you have trouble with the language, or did some people speak English?
Lots of people spoke English. It was a British colony.
Okay. So no problems with the now Pakistan was a British colony at that time too. Did you have problems with the language in Pakistan?
No, and I learned real fast how to sign language, not the regular sign language, but I just learned how to get my point across when I needed something, was looking for something, or how to get from point A to point B.
I see.
Whatever the problem, I never had any problem all the time I traveled. I won't say never, but most of the time I never had any problem. And after Delhi, New Delhi, we went on to Agra.
Well, let's stay in Delhi and New Delhi for just a moment if we could, because those are enormous, exciting cities. How long did you stay there? Where did you stay? And what type of things did you do there?
Well, first of all, we would just find that I was starting way back when we was traveling with those Iranians coming all the way across. Once you get to Turkey and Iran, you bargain for everything, your food, whatever. I watched them. I learned what they did. They say a person who don't bargain is a fool, and he should lose his money. So when you, even in Afghanistan and Pakistan, you bargain for stuff, but I didn't spend that much time there. So, I don't remember a whole lot about how what I had. You had to bargain for your food in a hotel and stuff, or a hotel, wasn't no motels. And they were just really nasty, cheap hotels, dirt, mud hotels, no running water, no electricity, stuff like that.
And there were no set rates. You would have to negotiate your own rate every night.
Well, unless you were staying for 2-3 days, you told them, or whatever the deal was,
Sure.
And in Kabul now they had electricity and water and stuff like that, but some of the other places did not. Some of the places we stayed in did not.
What was a hotel room, or what did a hotel room cost in Delhi or New Delhi, for instance?
Well, most of the time I paid a nickel to a dime
per night.
A meal was 3 cents.
And what did a meal consist of?
Well, the one that I liked the best, there was all kinds of different Indian food, but the one I liked the best was chapati, which was unleavened whole wheat bread, and a sabji, which was a curried vegetable, any kind of curried vegetable, and dal, which is the lentil bean.
Okay.
And that was curried also. So a little dish of dal, a little dish of sabji, 2 unleavened wheat bread was 3 cents.
Amazing.
And when I stayed a couple times, once in Nepal, which was the same price, but I'm getting ahead of myself, and back in India, people would have these little pots and few kerosene stove, and they'd either buy it from for a few pennies and then give it away when I left. If I was going to stay someplace for a month, I'd even cook my own food because it was a lot cheaper than 3 cents.
How could it be cheaper than 3 cents? It's free.
Because all you had to pay for was the kerosene, which was nothing. Everything was unbelievable. I lived, when I figured it all up, I lived on a $1.50 a week, eating, sleeping, transportation, everything.
Amazing.
And a lot of times it was $1 a week.
Which is why you could stay so long.
When you averaged it out, it was like $1.50 a week. And like I said, I get like through in New Delhi, just the markets, the bazaars, all the stuff that it was amazing. The colors and all the spices, there'd be a guy in a little wooden stall with these big, huge piles of all the different spices, the smells and stuff. It was incredible. You just didn't see nothing like that ever before. So that's what I spent. I'd walk through the bazaars all day long, just go out and walk. I walked everywhere. I loved walking. And so that's what I did in Delhi and New Delhi, was just check out the city, just walk and walk and walk. And then when we left New Delhi, went to Agra, and that's where the Taj Mahal is. And you walk through this wooden gate. It was like an archway, and there was the Taj Mahal. It was magnificent. You just can't believe what that thing looks like, and it just glimmers and shines. It's marble. And when you go inside of it, when he built it, he had all them semi-precious and precious stones put into the marble.
Yes.
Of course, they were stealing them, so now it's all glass. They had to take all them because they were huge. They were great big, like 60, 100 carat stones and stuff like that.
And so they put glass around the precious stones then, the walls with the precious stones?
No. They took all they were robbing the precious stones out of there, so they removed them all and just put colored glass in their place.
I see. So they still sparkle, but they're not precious stones anymore.
Right. They had to remove them.
I see.
Too many were being stolen.
Right.
And that was a mausoleum to his wife. This was a Muslim guy who built that. And it was a mausoleum to his wife that he really loved her. I mean, I'm sure you've seen pictures of it.
Oh, I have. It's one of the most gigantic, magnificent buildings I've ever seen. I've never seen it in person, but I would like to one day.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It is truly beautiful, and it just glimmers in the moonlight, just shines, in the sunlight and the moonlight.
And I have to think that the people in the area really they realize what a treasure they have there.
Oh yeah, when India and Pakistan is warring with each other, they have to cover it in gunny sack, which is made from hemp, because they're afraid that the Pakistanis will bomb it. And when they cover it in that gunny sack, it don't glimmer. You know, they can't tell what it is.
Right.
They know where it is, but at least they can't see it directly.
Exactly.
To try to hit it. And so anyway, spent time in Agra, just walking, like I said, walk the cities, just walk and check out all the places. And from there, went to Benares. And probably a lot of people have heard of that. That's where they all go bathe in the Ganges River. That's one of the things before you die. You're supposed to go bathe in the Ganges River. And millions of people go there. It's just incredible. Millions. It's unbelievable. And the water looks nasty, and the people take it home with them, fill up their containers and take it home with them and pour it down their wells, because they think it purifies their well and blesses them and all that. But it has a green algae in it. And later on, when I was here in Arkansas, I watched a program, and I think it was a National Geographic or something, and they tested that water, and that green algae eats all the bacteria, because they also not only bathe in it, that's where the ghats are, where they burn the bodies and dump that stuff into the river. And that bacteria is so strong, it kills everything that would harm a human.
So it's just not myth. There's fact to the myth.
Yeah. And it's got to be true, because like I said, millions of people, when they go there and bathe in the river, they fill up their containers and take it home and dump it down their well when they get home.
Amazing.
So anyway, from Benares then to Patna, and that'll tell you about that town later on, because we came back to it. Because from Patna, you go straight up north, and you get to the Nepalese border, and there up to Kathmandu, from the Nepalese border up to Kathmandu. And when I got to the border, you could either take buses, again, like I said, with wooden seats and stuff, or you could get in the back of a 2.5 ton, deuce and a half, and ride everybody standing up with a full load of people in there. Well, it was a couple pennies cheaper than the bus. So, of course, I took the truck. And, I mean, mountain roads, man, mountain windy roads, bad roads, too. And they stopped for a break. And during the break, I walk around the truck. And all of a sudden, I noticed on one of the dualies on the rear, it had blowed out. It was rotten. They had cut another piece out of another tire and bolted it in that blowed out spot.
So you were just really running on one tire, and then like a dummy.
No, it had an inner tube in it. They had put an inner tube back in it, and it run, but I couldn't believe it. So we didn't take no trucks no more when we went back and forth. We took the buses, and usually I walked around and looked at the tires before we started out.
You paid the extra penny or two.
Yeah. And then Kathmandu, my goodness. I had never heard of Kathmandu until I got to India, and everybody said, "Oh, you need to go to Kathmandu."
Now, where did you cross over India? I have a map in front of me. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Into India or into Nepal?
Into Nepal from India.
Okay. Do you see Roxol? It's almost straight south of Kathmandu. It's a little south and west.